Get started. Okay. So just starting in your seat and just take a moment to take a look around the space that you're in. Looking side to side, turning your head, turning your neck, warming up your spine while you just orient yourself to the space that you're in. Looking around your space. And when you have taken in this space, beginning to tune into your body. So noticing how your feet come into contact with the ground, noticing how your sit bones come into contact with the chair, and you might just kind of rock side to side to feel your sit bones on your chair, rooting down through your sit bones and just trying to find an even balance in between both sit bones. Welcome on, everybody. So finding that even balance between your sit bones, rooting down through these sit bones, letting your pelvis feel nice and heavy, and rooting down through your feet as well. Rooting down through sit bones, rooting down through your tailbone, through your sit bones, through your pelvis. Low body feeling heavy. And then letting your upper body feel light. And you might start to lengthen up through the upper body, lifting up through your spine, through the crown of your head. Low body heavy and upper body lifting and rising. Reaching the crown of your head up towards the sky as if you could create a little bit more space in between each one of your vertebrae. Growing tall. And as you start to grow tall, you might notice that your shoulders want to creep up by the ears. So with your next inhale, just go ahead and exaggerate that. Inhaling the shoulders up. And exhaling, relaxing them down and back. Inhaling, reaching shoulders up by the ears. Exhale, relaxing them down and back. And one more time, inhaling them up and holding them up by the ears. And then with your next exhale, relaxing them down, away from your ears. And then just taking a moment to massage the trap, the shoulder, the neck, that area that we just worked with these shoulder raises. Just gentle massage. And then relaxing arms down by the sides. And we'll just start to notice our breath. So just noticing the quality of your breath in its natural state. You don't have to change anything just yet. And if it feels okay, just starting to slow down and deepen the breath. Starting to lengthen your inhales and your exhales if that feels good. And as you start to take these fuller, deeper breaths, noticing where in your body you can feel the breath. You might start to notice breath sensations in your belly, and if it's helpful to bring your hands to your low belly, you can do that. And feeling breath in the belly. Noticing sensation, breath sensation in your low back. And again, you might bring a hand to your low back. Feeling breath in the side bodies, sides of your torso, filling up with air as you inhale, coming together as you exhale. These really subtle movements and sensations of your breath. And noticing sensations in your rib cage expanding, contracting as you inhale and exhale. Feeling it first in the lower ribs. And then feeling that in the whole rib cage. Front of the ribs and your chest rising and falling with your breath. And also noticing the backs of your lungs, the back of your rib cage. How you can breathe into the back body, feeling the back of your lungs fill up with air. And then feeling breath passing through your throat. And noticing breath going in and out of your nose or your mouth. Noticing cool quality of the air as you inhale. Noticing the warmth you create with your exhale. And just taking 3 more full deep breaths here. And if your eyes have been closed, you might just start to gently open them and just taking a moment to come back into your space. Maybe taking another look around, turning the head, warming up the neck, and coming back to center. We're going to bring hands together out in front of our hearts. We're going to rub the palms together, creating heat, friction, and you feel that heat start to build. Just bringing the hands to some part of your body that could use that touch. Maybe it's the shoulders again. Maybe it's your face, your jaw. Maybe it's another part of your body, your wrist, your back, your hips. We're just going to bring gentle touch and gentle massage. When you feel that heat start to dissipate, we're just going to do it again, rubbing hands together and bringing hands to the body. We'll do that a couple more times. All right. And when you feel complete with that, we're going to bring hands onto the tops of the thighs. We're going to come into our cat and cow. Hands on the tops of the knees, the thighs. Inhale, draws the belly and the chest forward, the shoulders draw back. And exhale, we round the spine, chin to chest. With your next inhale, your chest and your belly come forward, your shoulders draw back. And the exhale rounds the spine. So I like to have my hands on the tops of my knees, and I like to sort of use my legs as leverage to pull my torso, my belly, my chest forward, and I like to press into the tops of my thighs as I round my spine. You can also hold on to the sides of your chair. That can feel good. If you feel like you have more leverage that way or more support, you can do that. And it doesn't matter what pace you're going, just really thinking about linking movement with breath. So your inhale draws belly forward, and your exhale rounds your spine. And this might be more of a subtle movement to start, and you might exaggerate the movement a little bit more as you start to warm up your spine. Just moving with your breath. And if you've lost track of your breath, you can just gently bring your attention back to it. And we're going to do the same thing, but with our arms incorporated. So same thing with the inhale, our belly and our chest come forward, our shoulders draw back. And we're going to draw our elbows back, almost like you could draw your elbows back, like they could touch. You're thinking about drawing your shoulder blades together on your back. So elbows draw back, shoulder blades are drawing together, chest, belly forward, big inhale, big opening across the front body. And then with your exhale, we're rounding again and grabbing opposite shoulder. With your next inhale, opening, big stretch across the front body. Big inhale, and then exhale, grabbing opposite shoulder. And I'm trying to make sure that I alternate which elbow or which arm comes in first. So just trying to make both sides even. And same thing here. This can be a smaller movement if you're feeling a little bit more tight today, or this might be a bigger movement. And as always, you can play around with your tempo as well. If you want something a little bit more energizing this morning, you might have a quicker pace of your breath and your movement. You can breathe a little bit more vigorously, or maybe you go slower and have longer inhales and longer exhales. So I always like to encourage you to just play around with your breath and see what feels supportive for you today. That might be going faster, that might be going slower, that might be somewhere in between. But really paying attention to the breath. And continuing. All right. And then for our next movement, we're gonna have our hands flat and we're drawing our elbows back. So our hands are coming right by our sides, almost as if you could graze your hands like across the sides of your ribs, your low ribs, and elbows draw back. Again, shoulders draw back, elbows draw back. My chest and my belly are kind of coming forward. And then with my exhale, I'm interlacing my fingers together and reaching out in front of me. So really stretching the upper back. This time feeling the shoulder blades really coming apart as you reach the arms forward. So inhale, reaching back, elbows back, exhale, reaching forward as far forward as you can. And also thinking about switching which way your fingers are coming together every time. And as always, linking your movement with your breath. Inhale, opening. Exhale, reaching. Okay. And when you feel complete there, coming back up to center. And if you don't already have a wide-legged stance with your legs, go ahead and step your knees a little bit further apart. And you might come a little bit more forward on your chair. Hands coming onto the tops of the thighs. And we're making big circles with the torso. And again, I find it's easier on the chair to be a little bit more on the edge of your seat. So if that feels comfortable, you can try that. I feel like there's just a little bit more room to move. We're making these big circles, thinking about the same shapes that we've been making. So the belly and the chest coming forward towards the front, kind of finding the rounding in the spine towards the back. And with this one, I invite you to take your time, really feeling into all the different areas of the circle, noticing the different places you're feeling a stretch. And then go ahead and reverse the direction of the circles if you haven't yet. And feel free to pause if there's certain places in the circle that feel like a good stretch. Feel free to spend some extra time there or go even slower through those places if it's feeling good. Okay. Coming back to the center when you're ready. We're going to come into our side body stretch. So I like to keep that wide-legged stance with my legs. And your side stretch might look like this. You can extend your arm overhead. If you have any discomfort in your shoulders when you do that, you can also just lift your shoulder up and feel that lengthening in the side body. And for this one, I like to bring my opposite hand into my lap and kind of press down with the back of my hand as I reach over to the side. If you're thinking about breath here, you might inhale as you come up towards the center and exhale as you come to the side. You're also welcome to hold the side stretch for a couple breaths if that feels better, so you can make this more dynamic or more static. Okay, coming back to center. Just starting to get into the shoulders. I don't know if you can hear my creaky chair as I move on my chair. We're going to come into some shoulder rolls and just starting with smaller shoulder rolls. We're rolling the shoulders back. And then when you're ready, starting to make them a little bit bigger, adding in our elbows. All right, letting hands come down towards the sides. And we're gonna do some shoulder rolls forwards. Again, starting with these little rolls. And then we're gonna make them bigger, adding in the elbows. All right, and then we're coming back to our wide-legged stance with our knees. So my knees are coming fairly wide, really as wide as is comfortable. And again, I'm scooting forward onto my chair. My hands are coming to the tops of my thighs. I'm gonna dip my shoulder one at a time. So my elbow is kind of pointing out as my shoulder rotates in and should start to feel a stretch in the front part of your shoulder. You can decide sort of how far into the twist, how far into the stretch feels good for you. And we're also coming into a little bit of a dynamic spinal twist here. If you want to exaggerate that, you might turn your head as you are kind of turning your torso and your spine and your shoulder. And as far as the breath, I like to inhale as I'm coming up, and I like to exhale as I'm coming down into the stretch. All right. When you feel even on both sides, we'll come back up towards sitting up tall. And we're going to come into another shoulder rotation. So we're bringing our arms out towards the sides. Our hands are going to be in fists. And we're rotating our whole arm like a corkscrew. But my shoulder is rotating one at a time. The whole arm rotates, and my shoulder is rotating forward and back. So I hope you can all see that. I feel like, yeah, you can see it okay. Rotating one at a time. And again, my torso and my head are kind of turning along with the movement. And I'm doing one side at a time. And also when you come out of the movement, so I'm rotating the shoulder forward, and when you come out, you can feel the shoulder rotating back and the shoulder blades sort of coming together on the back when you come out of it. Okay, a couple more of those. All right. And releasing the hands down by the sides, rolling out the shoulders, rolling out the neck. We've got a little bit more warming, activating, strengthening work to do with our shoulders and our upper back. We're going to bring our hands out in front of us and reaching the arms as far forward as they'll go, like we could all reach into the screen. And we're doing this sort of shimmy thing, bringing one hand on top of the other, one at a time, doing that several times. And then we draw the arms back, elbows back as far as is comfortable. And then we're going to repeat over and over. Bring the hands on top and then drawing the arms back. And I already am feeling this in my upper back and my shoulders. We'll do this maybe 3 or 4 more times if you feel up for it. Trying to keep the arms straight, reaching far. Ooh, my shoulders are really feeling this already. Okay, one more time. All right, and then releasing, relaxing shoulders down. And if it feels good after that to just do another little massage on the shoulder, go ahead and do that if that feels supportive. All right. And before we move into our neck, we're just going to stretch out the shoulders. So bringing one arm out towards the side with your inhale. And then with your exhale, just sweeping it across the body, hugging it in towards you. I'm pulling my arm in with this bent arm, and I'm sort of pushing away with my straight arm, creating a little bit of resistance between my arms. All right. And then the other side, inhale, arm comes out to the side. Exhale, sweeping across the body, hugging it in towards you. And releasing the arm. We'll come into our neck. So I'm going to interlace my fingers and face my hands forward. My palms are facing forward. And then my hands are going to rest on the back of my head, really the lowest part of the skull, so just above the neck. My index fingers are really at the bottom of my skull. And I'm pulling forward with my hands, with my arms, as I press back with my neck and the back of my head. So just providing a little bit of that resistance in between. And you can decide sort of how much pressure you want to put. Should feel a little bit of activation in the neck and maybe a little bit of a release in the neck. You can stay right here. You can also play around with bringing your head side to side, turning the head gently, keeping that pressure. All right. And releasing the hands down when you're ready. And we're going to come into doing some work with our feet. So we're going to grab the ball if you have it. If you don't have a ball, a can of vegetables work. I don't have my can of vegetables with me, but I have another sort of thing of soup here. So any sort of hard cylinder type thing will work in lieu of a ball. And again, we're going to be rolling our feet over it. So a couple of options. You're welcome to stay seated, and we'll just bring the ball under the foot. We're rolling the ball. We'll start with the right foot. Again, if you don't have the ball, using your can. And we're just rolling the ball over the can or the glass bottle, water bottle. So you're welcome to stay seated, or you're welcome to come up into standing. So standing, just able to use a little bit more pressure on the ball if you want it. So again, we're going to start with the right foot, and we're just rolling forward and back. over the ball. And again, it'll be a little bit different if you have a can versus if you have the ball. After you've gone on the middle of the foot, we'll sort of lift up the outer edge and focus on the inner edge of the foot. This is actually a little bit easier with the can to do that, or the water bottle. So focusing on inner edge of the foot. And then see if you can focus on the outer edge of your foot, lifting up the inner edge of your foot. And then bringing the ball back to the heel of the foot and just putting pressure on that heel. You can press down into it or step onto it. Then moving the ball a little bit forward towards the arch, pressing down. Moving forward again, more towards the center part of your foot. Just putting that pressure. Again, you can kind of decide how much pressure you want to use. And then we're going to bring the heel of the foot down. We're stepping on the ball, and we're just going to pivot on the heel side to side with the ball underneath the arch. So this one is going to be a little bit harder to do with the bottle or the can, but you could kind of just pivot on your foot and put pressure on the ball or on the water bottle. Okay. And then just for the next couple moments, just go ahead and do whatever you want with the ball. You can continue rolling out certain parts of your foot, or you can just step onto different pressure points on your foot. All right. And then setting the ball aside, just go ahead and put pressure onto both of the feet and just notice if there's any difference in between the feet that we just worked. So notice how your feet comes into contact with the ground. Notice what you're noticing. Maybe there's a difference between the two feet, maybe not, but just notice. And then we're going to move on to our other foot. And again, so we're doing the left foot now. We're just rolling over the top of the ball. Or the water bottle. Or the can of vegetables. And I'm going to focus on the inner edge of my foot, sort of bringing the outer edge up as I focus on the inner edge, rolling out the inner edge. And then I'm going to focus on the outer edge of my foot, lifting up this inner edge of my foot. And then again, I'm bringing the ball underneath my heel, pressing down into the heel. Then moving the ball forward, sort of pressing down into the arch of my foot. Until I bring the heel of my foot down, and then I'm just going to pivot onto the ball. Pivot on my heel onto the ball. Okay. And then same thing on this side, just taking a few moments to do whatever you please on this left side. You can step onto, press down onto different parts of your foot. Or you can continue rolling on the ball. All right. And when you feel complete on that side, go ahead and set your ball to the side. And again, just coming back onto both feet, sensing into both feet. You might wiggle your toes and just noticing how it feels, how your feet come into contact with the ground, how your feet feel against the ground. And if you've been standing, we'll come back to seated. And if you are already seated, you can just stay right where you are. Yeah, and just noticing how your feet feel after that. Or any differences in between rolling out either one of your feet. Yeah, and we're going to come into some twists. So we're going to be twisting our torso over towards the right. If you want to cross your right leg over your left, if that's comfortable, you can cross right leg over your left. With your inhale, we're going to lengthen up through the spine. And with your exhale, twisting over to the right, you might grab the back of your chair with your hand. You might grab the outside of your leg with your opposite hand. Making little adjustments as you're here. So with your inhales, thinking about lifting and lengthening and growing tall. With your exhales, thinking about maybe coming a little bit more into the twist. All right. Coming back towards the center when you're ready. If you had right leg crossed over left, you might cross left over right. And again, with your next inhale, lengthening up, growing tall. With your exhale, go ahead and twisting the other way. And same thing, making those micro adjustments with your breath, with your inhales lengthening, with your exhales twisting. And coming back towards the center. If you have that left leg crossed over the right, you can keep it there. If you're available to bring your ankle up on top of the thigh, you can bring left ankle up on top of the thigh. Going to come into our hip stretch. And again, for this one, I like to be a little bit forward onto my chair. And coming into a massage of the low leg, calf, shin. Maybe massaging upper leg, maybe moving down and massaging the foot. All right, and then flexing this top foot. Inhale, growing tall, lengthening up through the spine. And exhale, folding forward over the bent leg, keeping that length in your spine, drawing your chest forward as you lean forward and flexing this top foot. You should start to feel a stretch in your hip. And if it's an intense stretch, if there's a lot of sensation here, just noticing your breath, seeing if you can keep your soft, full breath. Inhale, coming back up. Shaking out the leg if you need to, and we'll repeat on the other side, opposite ankle coming on top of the thigh. And again, starting with our massage of this leg. And you might massage the foot, you might massage your thigh. And then when you're ready, flexing this top foot. Inhale, growing tall. And then exhale, folding forward again, reaching your chest forward. Shoulders draw back, keeping the length in your spine. And again, noticing what's happening with your breath. Are you holding your breath? Seeing if it feels okay to relax your jaw, your forehead while you're here. And then when you're ready, coming back up. Releasing the foot down. And checking in with your body, noticing if there's anything else your body is craving before we start to settle into the final resting pose. So that might be some more movement in the shoulders, in your head, in your neck, in your low body. So go ahead and take whatever other movements you might be craving, anything we didn't get to today, or maybe something that we did today that you want to revisit. And if you're ready to come into rest, if you're ready for some rest, you can certainly start resting. We'll get ready to come into our Shavasana, our final resting pose. So if you're in the chair, you're welcome to stay right where you are. Some people like to lie down or switch to a recliner or a more comfortable couch, bed, ground. And yeah, I always just like to say it can be really nice to have the back of your head supported if you're able to lean up against something, whether that's a chair with a tall back or a wall. Can be really nice to just let the head and the neck relax by leaning back against something. So I will let you get nice and cozy, just taking, again, whatever position feels best. And you might grab onto some pillows or blankets, anything you need to make this more comfortable. And also knowing that you can make any adjustments you need while you're here. You can move, you can switch positions if something's not working for you. And as you start to settle in to whatever position you find yourself, just starting to take some bigger breaths here. Taking a big breath in. Exhale, letting it go. Taking another big breath in. Maybe exhaling with a sigh. Taking one more big breath in, holding the breath up at the top. Sipping in a little bit more air. And then exhale, letting it all go. And just allowing yourself to find a little bit more restfulness, a little bit more comfort in your position. Noticing all the places where your body comes into contact with the ground, the chair, the bed, the couch. Noticing the support of all the surfaces that are holding you up, supporting you. Noticing the sensation of that support beneath you, behind you. And seeing if it feels okay to rest back into that support. And doing a body scan, noticing all the different parts of your body. And maybe you notice if there's a place you might still be holding on to effort or tension. And noticing if it feels okay to release that, maybe just 5%. Sensing into your scalp and your forehead, relaxing scalp, forehead. Sensing into your eyes and eyelids, relaxing eyes, eyelids. Sensing into temples and cheeks, relaxing. Noticing your jaw, seeing if it feels okay to soften the jaw. Seeing if it feels okay to bring the teeth a little bit further apart. Sensing into neck and shoulders, maybe softening neck, shoulders. Biceps and triceps, inside and outside of your elbows, forearms and wrists, tops and bottoms of your hands. all 10 of your fingers relaxing. Sensing into back body, upper and lower back. Sensing front body, chest, belly. Seeing if it feels okay to soften the belly. Seeing if it feels okay to relax the pelvis, pelvic floor. And relaxing glutes, thighs, hamstrings. Fronts and backs of your knees. Shins and calves. Ankles. Tops and bottoms of your feet. All 10 of your toes. Relaxing. Whole body resting. Whole body relaxing. Allowing yourself these moments of rest. Nothing left to do here but rest. And you are welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. If you're wanting to transition back into your day, you might start to take some bigger breaths. You might start to send some movement into your fingers, your toes, maybe into your head. If you're lying down, you might make your way onto one side. And you might take a full body stretch, reaching the arms up, stretching out the legs. And when you're ready, only when you're ready, starting to make your way up towards seated. If you're already in seated, you might just start to lengthen up and sit up a little bit taller. And finding a way that feels good to close for you. That might be hands together out in front of your heart. That might be bringing hands onto your heart. And namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody,
Thank you.
for being
Thank
here
you.
today.
Thank you.